Здравствуйте, товарищи. Welcome back to our Let's Play of Prison Architect. And I want to get back into this Let's Play mainly because there has been a new update since we last convened. And that is Alpha 17 is out. And Alpha 17 offers a couple of important features. But before I get into those, I think you might notice that I've changed the skins of the area just a tad. And what has happened is that I found a mod, a Prison Architect mod, which transfers the area into a gulag, essentially. So as you can see, all our guards are like, they kind of like have that, they're Russian guards, and there's a nice, we can find some nice gulag uniforms, you know. And it doesn't change that much, but it just adds that nice sort of sense of totalitarian oppression that I think has been missing up to this point. But with that being said, let's talk about the new features that we have. And mainly, those are the armed guards. Which we have one right here, just chilling out, just patrolling. And as you can see, like, you got the nice, the tables, they look kind of like, you know, they're wooden benches now. Apparently, we really like serving prisoners bacon and whatever the hell that is, cabbage. So yeah, we've got armed guards, and what they do is basically they are terrifying new entities within the prison that are able to suppress people just by being near them. So what it usually was is that you'd go to, you know, if you're punished, you become suppressed and your prisoners would be more docile. Now, just by seeing these menacing armed guards, your prisoners become suppressed. So it's definitely a good way to keep the peace. And that means we can slowly start eliminating some of these comforts these political prisoners have been enjoying thus far. And of course, we can increase their workload because Mother Russia demands it. We're in a tight supply of lumber and license plates, I guess, for some reason. And we're getting to the point where we should actually probably open up the prisoners again, to the point where, because as you can see, I've expanded the cell block considerably, so we can start taking in a lot more prisoners. As well as I have expanded to a whole new section, bought some land expansions. So now I've got a whole new section across the road that I can use. Haven't decided what I'm going to do with it, but it's just kind of there. As well, I built a forestry because why not? And what happens with the forestry is it's basically just an area where people will come and plant trees. And then when the trees are ready to be harvested, they'll be cut down, and then you can use them to, you know, harvest those into logs and sell them for money. But I am wondering why a lot of my janitors are really not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I guess they're cleaning everybody's cell blocks, but the rest of the prison is freaking filthy. Okay, finally they're coming through. Alright. So now, as you can see, we've got the armory here where all our armed guards will be. So yeah, things are getting towards the depressing dystopian state that I want them to be in. But for now, let's go to our So now we are And we'll add, I guess, one free time right at the end there. But now, that guy looks like he's really sickly. But now, we need to slowly diminish the amount of free time that they have to the point where it's completely unnecessary. Hey, you're supposed to be doing work right now, not hanging out. Speaking of which, let me deploy my... So I think we should probably just buy a bunch more saws if we're not going to be doing so many license plates anymore. So, excuse me, I just came back from visiting with a buddy of mine. It's a high school friend of mine. And it was just interesting to see where your lives take you so far after high school. After this point, it's been like 5 or 6 years, I guess, since I've been in high school. And anyway, my friend, he's in the Canadian military, and what he is a Met Tech, which means that basically he is a weatherman. And what he does is he looks at the sky, and then he fills out a report and sends it to pilots about what the weather is going to look like. And that's what he does for 12 hours a day, 4 days a week, and then I think he gets 4 days off. And yeah, it was just hard to imagine that he would ever end up in the military. But considering the role that he's in, it's... What does that say? Stop. I don't know what that... I think it probably says prison. I don't know. Sorry. I can't read it. But anyway, so... It's just hard to imagine my friend ever being in the military because he's not exactly like the most fit or buff guy or anything like that. But just considering what he's doing, it makes a little bit more sense. But he was just telling me a lot of good stories about what the military is like. That he calls it the big green welfare machine, which is essentially the military exists for people who are unemployable in any other facet of life. And apparently it's very difficult to kick people out of the military. That basically you're paid for showing up, and provided you show up, there is absolutely at no point once you're in, they can't kick you out. So apparently it's full of people who are just complete idiots and retards and just suckling off the the teat of the government, I guess. And he gets paid about $50,000 a year to do his job with guaranteed salary increases every 4 or 5 years or something like that. And as well, he gets other bonuses, like he gets $2,500 for like leave. So they just literally give him no strings attached, $2,500, here you go, which he then used to go on a trip to New York. And they give him like $80 in food allowance per day, and nobody eats $80 of food a day. I mean, you can eat at like the most fancy restaurants. Well, I guess if you ate at fancy restaurants every day, you'd rack up $80 of food, but it's pretty tough to rack up that kind of bill. But yeah, just government hands it to you. The military hands it to you. Yeah, apparently it's not that much different in any other asset or facet of the military, especially if, like, even for the infantry, it's like you show up and you do some basic training, or you do some training to ensure that you're in some sort of halfway decent physical shape, and then beyond that, you're pretty much like a glorified janitor, and you're basically, asked to clean up the base. But then again, this is all his experience in the military, not mine, so I can't verify any of this, but I'm definitely willing to trust his word. So basically, long story short, if you're having trouble finding employment anywhere else, and you want a decent, cushy job, join the military. They'll set you straight, or the exact opposite. But other than that, it was a ton of fun to see him again. We drank until 6 in the morning one night, and I think that was a record I set. I'd never drinking, I think, that much in my life. And then the next day, I was wrecked, and I felt really awful actually, because I had a friend, another friend from high school, who me and my friend were gonna see, and I was just so wrecked that I could barely muster the energy to do anything. We tried to go out for lunch, and I just slept on the table because I was so out of it. But yeah. Then drove back home over the mountain passes of British Columbia and almost died. So that was fun. Well, I didn't almost die, but it was pretty treacherous. Snow and ice and everything like that. But I'm here now, ready to play Prison Architect, or now Gulag Architect, as I guess it should be called. So, we got a crap ton of prisoners rolling in tomorrow, which should definitely be interesting. Hopefully we can survive the glut. I think it was a mixture of all types of prisoners, low, high, and medium. But I need to do another Let's Play. There's actually a bunch of Let's Plays I gotta do. Well, I'm planning on doing. There's what am I looking at? What am I thinking? Oh yeah. So there's this indie game that's been rocking the house. And by rocking the house, I mean a lot of people are talking about it. Called Octodad Deadliest Catch. And I bought it, and it was pretty fun or whatever, but I was like, oh, I'm not gonna do Let's Play of this game. And then my sister actually messages me on Facebook, and I was like, oh, Spencer, can you please do a Let's Play of Octodad Deadliest Catch? And when your little sister asks you to do a Let's Play, you can't deny that. It's just not possible. But what I'm much more interested than Octodad is tomorrow, the early access for Hegemony Rome, Rise of Caesar, is finally being released. And in case you haven't seen it, I did do a Let's Play of the studio's first game, which was Hegemony Gold, or Hegemony Ancient Wars of Greece. And I really, really love that game. I think it's fantastic. And being such a Roman fanatic that I am... Oh, what the hell is this guy? Why is he wearing a... Hold on a sec. Go away. He's even got his own, freaking picture here, and he's wearing a suit. Maybe he's a developer friend or something. Fraser Bacon Killer Brown was kidnapped and savagely force-fed bacon, and savagely force-fed bacon to a group of innocent vegans for 3 straight weeks until they burst. He then sold the remains to a pig farmer. Wow, and he only got 6 years for that. But anyway, so the Hegemony Rome early access is coming out tomorrow, which I'm very excited for. And given the fact that I don't think Rome 2 was what any of us hoped or dreamed that it would be, I'm holding out a lot of hope for Ancient Wars, or not Ancient Wars of Greece. Rise of Caesar is what they're calling it. And from what I see, everything looks fantastic, so I cannot wait for that game to come out. And even in early access, it's looking pretty good. Like they are planning to implement 4 campaigns. They've already got 2 in, and it sounds like they got most of the core game already there, and the rest of it is like AI bouncing and graphical enhancements and that type of stuff. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. Just, I like how a lot of them are now having Russian names, too. I gotta watch and see if, like, all the new guys that come in have Russian names. What was I? I mean, yeah, I know that early access doesn't necessarily mean game release. Well, this is an early access game, and it feels like it's a pretty complete game or whatever. It's like I was listening to just every time the developers they release an alpha, they release like a video talking about what the new aspects and whatnot of the game, of the alpha that is, and they're really funny guys. And with the whole, oh yeah, they were talking about one of the, I think it was the producer or something, said like, don't worry, we've only got don't worry, take your time. We've got 9.5 years before we actually officially release this game. So at this rate, it's wow. Oh my God, he's trying to punch a dog. God, I need to put an armed guard out here too. Nah, go away. But yeah, anyway, I'm just saying that I know that early access does not mean we should consider a game to be released. Oh crap, that's no, I want armed patrols. Right. I don't know why you're being so frustrating. Yeah, is he patrolling the yard? Okay, good. Man, you know it's bad, right? When you're so distrusted by the guards and the prison staff that they have to have a dude with a shotgun just wandering around outside or inside the showers, making sure you're not causing any trouble. Wow, this bacon killer guy, he's like freaking out. He is having a seizure. Oh my God. Wow. I think you might need to expand solitary. This guy's gonna get trench foot or something by hanging out in this cell too long. Anyway, actually, speaking of trench foot, I told you guys in an earlier Let's Play that I've been really getting into audiobooks. And you sign up to, there's like a site, it's called Audible. A lot of people have probably heard of it. It's like the place where you go to get audiobooks if you're not going to other less legit websites or what have you. In any case, so you sign up for like a monthly subscription fee or whatever, and then every month they give you like a credit that you can use to buy a book instead of having to actually, pay for them outright. And usually you know, when you get your free book, you want to spend it on something substantial, and for the most part every book is like 1 credit or whatever. So this month what I spent my credit on was this giant, like 30-hour long book about World War One. It's quite good. Let me just if I can recall, it's A World Undone, the story of the Great War, I think. Yeah, the story of the Great War, 1914 to 1918 by J.G. Meyer, or Mayer. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. But in any case, it's really, really well done. And the narration is also epic. It's done by this like epic British guy, and he does a really great job. But yeah, it's also the 100th anniversary of World War One. So wow, this guy's in here for 4. Oh yeah, I put him in there for 24 hours. So yeah, it's the 100th anniversary of World War One. So I've decided to make an effort to really, three-dimensionalize it in its entirety. So I've been reading a lot of books, watching movies, or anything else I can do when I get my hands on, trying to find good games, but there aren't any good like conventional games really. There are some great mods out there that I've been checking out, but no sort of, I guess vanilla games. There's Verdun, but that's really kind of a game based off of a mod, so I don't know if that counts or if it's in some kind of weird nether region. In any case, the one great thing about this that makes this book, I think, so well done is the fact that they have what he calls background chapters in between every chapter, and they give you a brief look into the history of one of the countries, or the weapons that they're using, or sort of the political and socio-economic economic mood of the times, which led to the events that are happening in the story. What's with this green crap that keeps appearing? Poo? Oh, okay. No, it's not poo. That's just what he needs to do. In any case, so he does a brief interlude about the Ottoman Empire, and there's still like a lot of people today that have like really strong like emotional attachments to the Ottoman Empire. And frankly, I had sort of basic outlines of some of the history of the Ottoman Empire in a larger general sense, but I didn't know a lot of specific details. And in this book, he gives sort of a brief background of the Ottoman Empire and kind of how it used to be at everyone knows it used to be at such great heights back in the day that it's at one point it seemed inevitable that they were going to overrun maybe all of Europe, and nobody kind of knew how to stop them. But things kind of went downhill at a certain point because none of the Ottoman sultans decided to get married. What they had was they kind of had a harem of like 2,000 women, not 2,000, like 200 women, and they kind of, I guess, chose heirs based on this kind of harem that they had, and none of them ever really got married. But one of them decides to get married, and then the one son that he has was just such like an inept cretin that he poisoned virtually the entire line. And because of this guy, all these horrible byproducts and all these horrible traditions were established. Like there's one tradition they established called the cage, in which the Sultan would like lock his harem and all the sons produced from his harem in this large windowless building, in which they weren't allowed to have any kind of contact with the outside world. And then when one sultan died, a son from the cage would be brought out who has never had any kind of interaction with the outside world up until this point, and has generally been abused and mistreated his entire life. And then he's brought out to rule this great empire of the world, and then all the other people in the cage are put to death, and then the cycle kind of starts all over again. And when I was hearing this, I was like, what the fuck? This is like the most messed up thing I've ever heard of in my life. Like, I couldn't believe that this was reality. Like, this actually happened. It sounded like it was something from Game of Thrones or something along those lines, and it was just so unbelievable. So yeah, I don't know whatever, but that was kind of the reason for the downfall of the empire. They kept having these cage sultans that weren't exactly fit to rule a great power for obvious reasons. But yeah, I don't know why they ever thought that was a good idea. At least we don't have the cage anymore. At least we can pat ourselves on the back about that fact. Alright, sorry about that. Again, had to take a quick break. Maybe I should add another door out of this, out of the shower. Kind of like a mass rush to get out. Oh no! Oh, 61 people have serious complaints. Yeah, we better make sure we search them all tonight. No, things aren't looking good. Danger level increasing. What we need to do is we need to recreate the cage in this, game. But again, it's probably just like